This is Jamarl Thomas, and welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. So, today was a little disconcerting, and to be honest, a lot disconcerting. I felt a little bit more off the more I read into what went on today. So, it took Donald Trump 8 days to bring the United States to the brink of a constitutional crisis. Personally, I think they're sanitizing that title. It's not the brink of a constitutional crisis. It is a constitutional crisis. And we probably shouldn't even use the word constitutional crisis. We should probably call it what it is. It's essentially a power grab. We are either we have a fascist government or it's absolute anarchy. But you can't say we're ruled by laws if this shit flies. So, late Friday, Trump issued an executive order forbidding millions of refugees, hundreds of thousands of visitors, and 500,000 legal immigrants from 7 major majority Muslim countries from entering the United States. On Saturday night, a judge in Brooklyn ordered the Trump administration to stop deporting refugees and visitors immigration authorities had previously cleared to enter the country. 2 judges in Massachusetts ordered that travelers who were legally authorized to be in the United States shouldn't be detained at or deported from Logan International Airport for a period of 7 days. A judge in Seattle halted deportation of 2 travelers, and the judge in Virginia issued an order requiring the administration to allow lawyers access to lawful permanent residents, also known as green card holders, whom Custom and Border Patrol agents had detained at Delhi's International Airport on Trump's instruction. So that's what you want, right? I mean, that is what you want to happen. The new president tries to make a power grab and essentially says, I'm going to ban people of a particular religion. I'm going to ban people of a particular religion from coming into my country. And the judges essentially say, well, no, you're not going to do that. You don't have the authority to do that. And at the very least, we're going to discuss whether or not this should be permitted to go through. What you don't want to happen is for the very next day, those border agents are still harassing people and trying to deport people and detaining people. And the person from the administration comes on the Sunday shows and say, Saturday's ruling does not undercut the president's executive order, a senior White House official told NBC News. Midday Sunday, in reference to the Brooklyn judge's decision, all stopped visas will remain stopped, all halted admissions will remain halted, all restricted travel will remain prohibited. CBP officials refused throughout the weekend to obey the Virginia's law, ordered to allow lawyers access to detainees at Delhi's. It's not going to happen, they told attorneys who hope to represent the detained people. When Senator Cory Booker showed up at the airport shortly before midnight Saturday, CBP officials refused to meet with him, according to reporting by Daily Beast Betsy Woodruff. I am now of the belief that though this is issue of the judicial branch, that it was violated tonight, Booker said. I believe it's a constitutional crisis where the executive branch is not abiding by the law. Yeah, I agree with Cory Booker. I mean, that's literally what it is. The president does something. The federal judge says, yeah, don't do that. Stop that. And the president says, that's just your opinion, dude. So, all throughout Sunday, there were still reports coming off about Border Patrol agents still engaging in the same behavior. Tammy Duckworth and Richard Durbin sent a letter to the Department of Homeland Security's Inspector General requesting an investigation into essentially the request of this order, the handling of it after the judge issued their ruling, and if so, did anyone tell them to blow off that order? Here's a question. What happens if they don't comply? Like, what happens if the Trump administration just says, yeah, we're doing it anyway? What are you going to do about it? I mean, the question is, how strong of a republic do you believe that we have? And if the president does that, is it possible to even stand up to that? Like, what does that do to a country? And man, to the minions at the airport who are detaining these people and who are bugging the shit out of these people who are just trying to go about their way. You're not the good guys here, man. You're so not the good guys. You are... Certainly, there has to be something more to you than to just be doing a job. I mean, I get it. They're paying you to do a particular job. But at this point, you are engaging in behavior that is morally questionable. And at this point, even legally questionable. The judge has ordered that shit to stop. And you guys are turning senators away over that asshole in the White House who didn't even win the popular vote. This is... If laws don't matter anymore, I mean, if we're really at the point where the courts are just an opinion, like an opinion that doesn't even have any particular, it's just an ignored opinion, then we need to stop with these ideas of liberty and freedom and all this other stuff. At that point, we are at the whim of whoever the hell is in power. And that's absolutely gross. It puts me in the mind of there was like a billionaire or something, but he had made the statement saying, I could pay half of this part of the country to murder the other half of that part of the country. And he was kind of making this point how if you're paying for somebody, like if there's a financial interest involved in something, meaning these guys, for the most part, just look at themselves as just doing the job. Now, I don't know what they tell themselves in the morning when they look at themselves in the mirror. I don't know how they assuage what they do for a living. I have no clue. But at the end of the day, they're collecting a paycheck to screw with people. And I don't know if there's just this cognitive dissonance that, oh man, maybe this isn't the right thing to do. Or I'm on the front lines and I'm on the wrong side of this. I don't know. But that sounds a lot like I could pay this half to kill the other half. And look, I'm not saying they're trying to kill anybody. I'm just saying they're engaging in really sketchy behavior that at this point has been struck down by a court. At least struck down in the short term by a court. And those guys are still doing it. I don't think they're doing it for their health. I mean, they're getting paid for a particular thing. I just wish people were better than that. That's all. I wish people were more so to the point of saying, yeah, I'm not going to do that. I want no parts in that. As opposed to, all right, give me my check. Who do I need to harass? Who do I need to harass? I got kids. And you know the sad part? Look, of all those countries that he had on that list, zero Americans have been killed from any of those countries. There is this makes no sense at all. And it's absolutely absurd. Or at the very least, it makes no logical sense. I mean, if you just wanted to say somebody's xenophobic, yeah, they'll do some dumbass stuff like this where they're like, we're going to block all of religion. There are 1.5 billion Muslims on the planet. And you're trying to make this argument that you're doing this because of terrorism. Do you know how much damage we lay waste to? Obama has been killing thousands of people with these fucking drones. And you're talking about these guys who has killed no Americans at all. This is fucking Orwellian. Absolutely Orwellian. And here's another thing that blew me away. For every one American killed by act of terrorism, 1,049 died because of guns. Look, Either Trump is the dumbest man on the planet, which that may be true. Either he is as racist as all hell, which again, that also may be true. Or Trump was crowd surfing what he saw during the primaries as bigotry, xenophobia, racism, anger, all that stuff. You had certain people who see their country as passing them by, and they don't particularly like the other. And Trump gave them the other. It's very well possible that Trump doesn't give two shits about Islam. That he was literally running that race, and this is just purely a political point. Political expedience. I told him I was going to do it, so I did it. Donald Trump. And look, I suspect it's probably all three. I mean, any way you cut this is fucking gross. Man, look, man, this is one of those times where this could be one of those times where it's a defining moment of a country. I mean, it really is. Because understand, we're only 8 days in, and already we've gotten to the point where the presidency, the weakest fucking presidency in the history of the presidency. He didn't even win the popular vote. And he's like, I'm going to just ban people from coming into the country. I had the largest crowd in the history of crowds. I'm awesome. Everything's going well. Everything is not going well. Look, man, you will lose. People like you always lose. If you look back at history, there's a pretty decent pattern of you guys losing. It may not be immediate, but at the very least, one of my fears have been somewhat undercut. So one of my biggest fears for the Trump administration was that nobody would say anything. Like that he would pull some shit like this and people would just kind of let it go. Like, oh well. I mean, they let so much other shit go during the time with Obama and during the previous administrations. It's like people have been asleep at the fucking wheel. And it's like, look, there have been times where I've been really aggravated at Obama. Particularly when some of the civil liberty stuff. Because in my head, if I understand you guys trust Obama with that power. But what about the next guy? Like, would you have trusted Mitt Romney with the ability to kill people at a whim? How would you feel if Mitt Romney got out there, or Donald Trump gets out there and asserts that, well, look, judicial review doesn't necessarily have to go through the judicial branch, that the executive branch can make the decisions on who they need to kill. Eric Holder made that fucking argument, essentially saying that the executive branch can legally make the determination on who they want to kill. Where were the protests? Where were the people losing their shit when he said that? Those people weren't anywhere near. And now Trump is out here doing shit like this. And he has a ton of powers at his disposal. So, look, but it does warm my heart that people are at the airport losing their shit, because they should be losing their shit, because this is a big fucking deal. And it goes beyond the Muslim banner in this case. It goes up to the point of, are we a country governed by laws or not? That's what it boils down to. If we are not, then none of the shit matters. Because for the most part, our image of this country is no longer in existence. But at the end of the day, what it boils down to, if he can blow off these judges, then yeah, Constitution, it's gone. It's gone. If these weak, coward minions are going to go through with it and essentially help him do this, then yeah. I mean, at that point, you end up, in a sense, ripping the country apart. Oh man. My point is, this looks potentially bad, and I don't necessarily like the way this looks, particularly the way it's kind of unraveling itself. But stay tuned. I have no clue what these guys are going to do. Particularly if he just says, yeah, it's the president's perspective that those judges' ruling didn't apply. It's a separate branch of the government, and we don't believe that it applies to us. What are they going to do if he does that? I mean, it's outrageous, but that's also Donald Trump. And if they don't have an answer for that, that's a scary prospect. Because at that point, you're purely relying on Donald Trump to not power grab. That's not where you want to be, man. So, yeah, today was disconcerting. All right, guys. Thanks.